Hello, what's up everyone? Welcome back to VP Reaction. I'm Vicky.
Peter here.
Welcome to another episode of our reaction video.
Yeah.
And today you're back with a video of Littlerichard. Is it you don't know much about the video. I think it's a video of his history or something about him. So we're gonna find out with you guys. And the video itself is titled Couldn't Stand Him. Couldn't stand him, now we know why. So I think it's a video of him about maybe his particular history. So as usual, come with us to the end, and this was courtesy of Dan. So thank you so much, Dan, for this particular amazing episode that you're about to explore on Littlerichard.
Exactly. Don't forget that, guys, this is what we do here each and every day on our channel. It's just good vibes with good music. So guys, if you like it, don't forget to subscribe here. Yeah, hit that subscription button mainly, and you can support us by requesting any of your favorite that you like us to jump to be featured on our channel. Do that request via our Buy Me Coffee link that's on the description, or even join our Patreon community link. Both two links are on this song's description, so check them and we'll be so thankful for that. Otherwise, let's find out who was that Richard couldn't stand him,
Yes,
and why. Let's go.
And Pat Boone said, oh, wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom. And I still say, oh, wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom. And the white kids wanted to hear, wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom. Woo! They wanted to hear me.
Many people didn't know this, but there was one person Little Richard just couldn't stand.
Who is
and
that?
We may have just found out why. That person was Prince.
Ooh.
Reports say Prince was often dismissive towards Little Richard, which Richard found disrespectful, especially since Prince got his bold persona and androgynous fashion from him.
I think Prince, when I see Prince, I see a young Little Richard.
But Prince wasn't the only famous person Little Richard had issues with.
Okay.
He also had a problem with Elvis Presley, often expressing frustration over Elvis being called the king of rock and roll.
My work is easy because I use
Oh,
sorry.
I really like the story here. We'll be encountering adverts here and there. Let's go.
The king of rock and roll!
Then there was Pat Boone, and even the Beatles. What exactly was his problem with all of them? Let's find out.
Okay.
Little Richard was one of the first big stars in rock and roll. He wore makeup, shiny clothes, and high heels. He styled his hair in a big way and played the piano with great energy. He shouted, danced, and gave everything on stage. Back in the 1950s, this was something very new.
The rhythm and blues had a baby, and they called it and named it rock and roll. The rhythm and blues had that baby, and they called it rock and roll.
Most singers at that time did not look or act like him. But Little Richard didn't care. He wanted to be himself and perform in a way that made people remember him.
Yeah.
Wow, I like
Many
that.
years later, Prince became a star. He also wore makeup, flashy clothes, and high heels. He played the piano in wild ways and moved around the stage with confidence.
Do you always dress like that? Or?
Every day I go to the grocery store like this and people turn around. When I walked in the airport here in London today, a man dropped his cup of coffee.
People loved him and called him unique. But what many people forgot was that Little Richard did those same things first.
Okay,
Little Richard
I
was a
get why.
trailblazer. He made it okay for artists like Prince to be different. He opened the door for a new kind of music and style.
Yeah.
Even though they had so much in common, things between Little Richard and Prince were not friendly. They once met at a party during the time Prince released his movie, Purple Rain.
Okay.
This was a big moment in Prince's career. The party was full of important people. But reports said that Prince didn't treat Little Richard with much respect during their meeting. He was cold and distant. He didn't show any thanks to Richard for paving the way. This made Little Richard feel hurt and ignored. Little
Okay.
Richard felt that Prince should have shown more respect. He believed he helped make it possible for someone like Prince to become famous. He felt that Prince acted like he was the first to do those things, even though Richard had done it decades earlier. Richard saw a lot of himself in Prince, and it was painful for him to be treated like he didn't matter. Even after feeling disrespected, Little Richard still said something kind. At the Purple Rain movie premiere, he told people, "Prince is me for this generation." That was a powerful thing to say.
Exactly.
It showed that Richard knew Prince was following in his footsteps. He understood that Prince carried his spirit into a new time, even if they didn't get along.
I think Prince, when I see Prince, I see a young Little Richard.
Fans also saw the connection. They noticed how Prince acted on stage, how he moved, dressed, and made faces. Many said it reminded them of Little Richard.
Oh,
but
wow.
Prince also had other musical influences. He was inspired by people like Jimi Hendrix, James Brown, David Bowie, and the Beatles.
Wow.
Still, Little Richard's style was deep in the roots of what Prince became. Some fans said Prince didn't copy Little Richard. They said he took ideas from many places and made his own style.
Yeah.
Might be true.
Yes,
But
yes,
the
by
fact
the way.
remains, without Little Richard, there may never have been a Prince.
Okay.
Richard was the first to show that music could be wild, fun, and free. Even though their meeting ended in tension, both men were legends. They both changed music in big ways. Little Richard started the fire. Prince carried the flame. Their feud was real, but their impact on music was even greater.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that part. Little Richard started the fire and Prince carried the flames.
Yeah.
Maybe Little Richard seeing, as he had said earlier, like I see Little Richard in Prince right now. Maybe he, after seeing him dressing the same like him, wearing makeup, fancy clothes and all that, he really saw himself in him. And maybe for him, he was like, okay, I'm so happy I have inspired someone. But maybe for Prince, he didn't think the same way. Maybe he's just say, I just took ideas and improvised it. So maybe you are not the reason I'm here, because I just did my research, got ideas and improvised it. But Little Richard, seeing him, is like, oh wow, I think I've inspired someone. So that's why he's kind of feeling down about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I get him.
Okay, so according to Little Richard, he is the king of rock and roll.
Okay.
But over the years, a lot of fans seem to have crowned Elvis.
I want you all to know that I am the king of rock and roll.
Elvis Presley was often called the king of rock and roll. People loved his voice, his looks,
performance,
and the way he danced.
His
He
deep
became
voice.
very famous in the 1950s and 60s. Many fans believed he started rock and roll music, but not
Okay.
everyone agreed with this. One person who spoke out was Little Richard, a black music icon who helped shape the sound of rock and roll before Elvis became famous. Little Richard was proud of his music. He played the piano and sang songs that were fast, loud, and full of energy. His songs like Tutti Frutti
Boom, boom, bomb, bomb. Beautiful.
and Good Golly Miss Molly became hits.
You have not done
I
this.
think we've not done this, yeah.
But for Tutti that's
Tutti Frutti.
yeah, Tutti Frutti. I know that bam bam bam.
No,
Yeah, that's.
no.
But this one also sounds interesting. Huh?
Exactly,
it's
because-
it's Good Golly Miss Molly.
Oh, good golly Miss Molly.
Oh,
Okay.
say it faster. Good Golly Miss Molly.
Good golly Miss Molly.
People danced to them everywhere. Richard said many times that he helped create the rock and roll sound.
Okay.
He believed that without him, there would be no rock and roll as we know it today.
Oh.
He even said,
But being there before the others, being the first one to do it, I think he is.
He deserves some flowers.
Yeah, he deserves it. Huh?
But oh sorry. Just
means he believed
Yeah, let's
he
go.
built the foundation of the music style.
Yeah.
Richard often felt upset because Elvis got more credit. He said it was not fair. He believed that if he had been white like Elvis, he would have been just as big, maybe even bigger. In one interview, he said, "If I had been white, there never would have been an Elvis Presley."
What?
Richard felt that the color of his skin held him back, even though he was just as talented. He thought people accepted Elvis.
Maybe by saying that, maybe it was that time where racism was really high.
Yeah,
The whites were being were on their own way and the blacks were on their own way. So I think that's the reason why he said so. He felt so.
I remember it's in the early 60s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was right to say that I love when he has said that Elvis, not Elvis, Littlerichard was among the first artists to lay the foundation of rock and roll. Yeah, by the way. I think that's true.
Elvis more easily because Elvis was white. He saw that as a big reason why Elvis became more famous.
Okay.
Still, Richard did not hate Elvis. In fact, he called Elvis his friend. He said he loved him and was sad when Elvis died in 1977. Richard said, "That's my buddy, my baby. I love him."
Oh, wow.
He believed Elvis was one of the greatest performers the world had ever seen.
Yeah.
Even though Richard felt he didn't get enough credit, he never showed hate toward Elvis. Richard also said that Elvis helped rock and roll music reach more white people. Before Elvis, this kind of music was mainly played by black artists and enjoyed in black communities.
Really?
When Elvis started singing, white fans started listening too.
Okay.
Richard said, Elvis started white people to really sing rock and roll.
That's
Richard
right.
knew Elvis helped open the door wider for the music, even if the door was already partly open thanks to songs like Tutti Frutti. He also said that rock and roll was black music. In one interview, he said clearly, rock and roll music is black music.
Okay.
He didn't mean to take anything away from Elvis, but he wanted people to know where the music really came from.
Yeah, where it
He
started.
said, the door may have already been opened by Tutti Frutti. That meant the music was already here before Elvis made it big.
Okay.
Elvis became famous by also singing songs written or first performed by black artists.
Okay.
One example is Hound Dog, which was first sung by Big Mama Thornton.
Oh, we don't know her.
But when Elvis sang it,
Who is the lady? Like Mama Thornton? Or
It's something like that.
I think we should jump into her.
Yeah, if you know her, guys, please
Send
share
us
with us.
some
Yeah,
songs
yeah.
about her. But I love the fact that I didn't know that rock and roll originally, its roots were from the black.
Yeah, it was sung by blacks. I'm also hearing it for the
Me
first
too.
time. But interesting of it.
Yeah.
the song became a huge hit. Many white people heard it for the first time through Elvis.
Okay.
Richard noticed this too. He said, a lot of things they would do for Elvis and Pat Boone, they wouldn't do for me. He meant that white artists got more chances, even when they sang songs that started
Pat
in black
Boone?
communities. Even though Richard felt hurt by this unfairness, he always spoke kindly of Elvis. He gave Elvis credit where it was due. He admitted that Elvis helped the music grow and reach more people.
Exactly.
He said, "We was one of the main doors that came through. Chuck Berry was another door himself."
Yeah,
And
I
we're
remember
not saying
Chuck
that Elvis wasn't a main door. I would never say that.
Okay.
He respected Elvis as a fellow artist.
Yeah.
In the end, Little Richard never gave up his claim. He believed with all his heart that he was the real king of rock and roll. He was proud of his work and how he helped shape music history. So the question remains, who was the real king of rock and roll? For many, it was Elvis. But for others, it will always be Little Richard, the
Exactly.
man who helped build the music from the ground up.
Oh, wow.
Moving on, you ever heard of Pat Boone?
It was
No.
like full of 5 black radio stations in the whole country, and the white station wouldn't play me. But I was hitting big, but the white kids had my record, but I wasn't on the radio.
So, in the 1950s, Pat Boone became very popular by singing cover songs. These songs were first sung by black artists like Little Richard. One of the most famous was Tutti Frutti. But Pat Boone's version sold more records. His version
What?
was cleaner and easier.
You remember this story when we did the Little Richard movie?
Okay.
Yeah, there is a time that I think it was just the company or that was signing him.
Yeah,
Signed a white that could sing Little Richard's even songs to
Okay.
make them more popular to the whites.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember
the maybe adverse strategy for the company, or also to make it reach more people. You know, remember you are on a geographical position in a location where the whites overpower you in numbers, and you are chasing numbers, you know, in music, of course, for people to watch it, buy albums and so on. So they used it. For me, that's my view. They used that. Is it Bunny? Like that advert measure. Because he could sell more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
For white radio stations to play. At that time, many people in America didn't want to hear black artists on pop radio.
What?
So, when a white singer like Boone sang the same song, it became more accepted.
More
Yeah.
popular.
Little Richard didn't like this. He thought
course,
Pat Boone's
yeah.
versions took the power and energy out of his music.
Yeah.
Richard's style was wild and loud. He shouted, played fast piano, and dressed in flashy clothes. He wanted to be different so people would notice him. He didn't want his music to sound soft or boring. Boone's versions were safer and more polite, which helped them get on more radio stations.
The radio, you know, and they would hear it from WLAC, called WLAC across the whole country. That's the only thing that helped me. And then they took Pat Boone and threw Pat Boone on me.
This upset Richard because his hard work
see the
got less
dressing there.
attention than the covers.
And when I said wop, babaloo, bop, bam, boom, and with all this wild, like, everybody got wild, everybody changed. Because they hadn't seen nothing.
At that point.
At that point. And that was a big point. And it was pointing everywhere.
Pat Boone admitted that he and Richard were very different. He said they didn't really know each other well. They lived in different worlds. Boone heard stories about Richard being very bold and sometimes shocking. He talked about how Richard wore wild clothes and big hair, and even said other rock stars like Jerry Lee Lewis did crazy things just to get noticed.
Okay.
Boone thought they did what they had to do to get famous, and
Yeah.
he respected that. Boone talked about how he got the song Tutti Frutti. It was 1956, and he had already made 6 hit records. All of them were covers of black artists' songs. Boone said he loved Tutti Frutti the moment he heard it, but he didn't understand the words at first. He even had to write down the sounds like a wop bob baluma bom boom, so he could say them right.
Yeah.
Some fans joked that it sounded like he was saying his own name, Pat Boone, in the song.
Oh, I get it.
Pat Boone said, wop, babaloo, bop,
Bamboo.
And I still said, wop, babaloo, bop, bam, boom. And the white kids wanted to hear wop, babaloo, bop, bam, boom. Whoa, they wanted to hear me.
Boone knew he couldn't sound like Little Richard, but he tried to keep some of the fun and excitement in his version.
Okay.
He wanted to share that energy with his fans. He said the song seemed to scream at him to cover it. His version became a million seller, and that made him very happy. Sometimes Boone changed the words in songs. He did this to make them sound more clean and proper.
Okay.
In Long Tall Sally, he tried not to make it sound like something bad was going on between Uncle John and Sally.
If you're hearing these words,
Oh, sorry for the advert. But I'm really liking it. It's getting more interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
About Uncle John, he says he had the blues, but he has a lot of fun.
In Tutti Frutti, he changed some of the words because they sounded too romantic or suggestive. Instead of saying, "She knows how to love me," he sang about a girl named Susie who was just right for him. He believed Little Richard knew he had made those changes. Even though Boone's version became a big hit, he was happy for Richard too. At that time, Richard was still washing dishes at a bus station in Macon. He wasn't making much money, even though his record was out. But when Richard heard Boone's version on the radio, he got excited. He threw down his towel and walked out. He said, "I'm going to make some money now." Boone felt good knowing that his version helped bring attention to Richard's music. Later, Boone and Richard met on a TV show called Dick Clark's American Bandstand. They were friendly, but they didn't spend much time together. Boone remembered Richard saying he liked Boone's versions of his songs. Boone felt like they helped each other. He brought Richard's music to new fans, and Richard's music helped Boone become more famous.
Oh, yeah.
Still, Richard sometimes said he didn't
benefit.
like that people knew Boone's versions more than his own.
Okay.
He told a story about how parents didn't let their kids buy his records. They
What?
told them to buy Pat Boone's version instead. Richard felt that was unfair. Boone understood. He said that back then, radio stations didn't play much R&B or race music. Those songs were loud and fast, and many people didn't understand the words. But white singers like Boone got played on pop radio. Next, did you know the Beatles basically opened for Little Richard at some point early in their careers?
Oh.
When I would go to a city to appear, the black people would be downstairs and the white people would be upstairs. It was called white spectators. But Tutti Frutti broke that barrier. The white people would leap over that upstairs and it came downstairs.
In the early days,
Wow.
the Beatles were still learning and growing. During one of their first big tours, they traveled with Little Richard.
The next song we'd like to do is one which was originally recorded by a person who's a very big favourite of ours, Little Richard. The song is called Long Tall Sally.
Little Richard became a mentor to the young Beatles, especially Paul McCartney. Paul loved the way Little Richard sang with power and energy. Richard showed Paul how to do his famous scream, a loud and exciting
I
way
know
of
that.
Paul used that scream many times in Beatles songs.
Yeah.
It became a special part of their music and helped them stand out from other bands. Soon, the Beatles were asked to play music every night in clubs in Hamburg, Germany. Two clubs they played in were called the Indra and the Kaiserkeller. This was a big chance for them. They played long hours every night, sometimes for many days in a row. It was hard work, but it made them better musicians.
Yeah.
They became more confident and strong as a group. When they came back to Liverpool and played at the Cavern Club again, people noticed how much better they were. More fans came to see them, and they were becoming more popular.
I'm gonna tell Aunt Mary about Uncle John, said he had the missing part.
The next year, the Beatles toured the UK with famous singers like Roy Orbison and Del Shannon. But
Wow.
one of the biggest moments for them came in late 1962. They were asked to be the opening act for Little Richard again. This time, it was at a new music place in Hamburg called the Star Club. They played 14 shows there. It felt like
Wow.
a dream come true.
What?
Not only did they
14?
perform with their
That's
idol
so
again,
many.
but they also got to spend time with him backstage. Little Richard helped Paul even more with his voice. He gave tips and support, especially in the green room before shows. After the shows in Hamburg, Little Richard visited Liverpool to watch the Beatles perform again at the Cavern Club.
Wow.
Oh wow, that shows how Little Richard was really a
Supportive.
good guy, supportive,
For sure.
willing to help and all that. Like he was a very humble guy.
And also, as I usually we say, talent are identify and acknowledge talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are really happy for others,
Yeah.
then maybe your favor will increase each and every time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Was very impressed with how far they had come. He told people that the Beatles would one day become big stars in America.
Oh,
He believed in them
Yeah.
and could see their future success. His support meant a lot to the group. In early 1963, the Beatles' manager, Brian Epstein, got them an audition with a big record company called Decca. He told them to play songs that sounded more soft and polished. So they played songs like Three Cool Cats, and
By the way, it's
Beside
cool. Huh?
But the people at the record company did not like it. They did
Okay.
not offer the band a contract.
What?
The Beatles were disappointed. But later, they got another chance to audition, this time with George Martin from Parlophone Records. They went back to the fast and exciting music style they learned from Little Richard. This time, it worked. They were offered a contract, but they had to get a new drummer. That's when Ringo Starr joined the band.
Oh.
Later that year, the Beatles recorded their first album, Please, Please Me.
You don't need me to show the way, love.
It took only one day to record, about 10 hours. Many songs on that album were full of energy, just like Little Richard's music. Songs like I Saw Her Standing There and Twist and Shout had that same exciting style. John Lennon's voice even sounded rough and loud, like Little Richard's. Not long after that, the Beatles went on The Ed Sullivan Show, and they became famous all over the world. Even though Little Richard helped the Beatles, he later felt sad. He believed they did not thank him enough for what he did. He thought they should have said more about how he helped shape their music.
Again?
He also felt that many black artists like him were not given enough credit for their work in music history. Just like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, early in their careers, crossed paths with Little Richard.
Oh.
Back when the Rolling Stones were just getting started, they were not famous yet. They were young, broke, and trying hard to make it in the music world.
Okay.
At that time, something big happened. Little Richard helped them. He invited them to go on tour. This gave the Rolling Stones a chance to perform in front of larger crowds. It also helped them get noticed. This was a very important moment in their early career.
Mick Jagger was opening my show. It was just called the Rolling Stones. He was opening my show. And it's just strange, all these people, how they came from me. When I look back over this, it's almost like a dream.
Little Richard had a very powerful stage act. He was full of energy and had a wild, exciting way of performing. Mick Jagger, the lead singer of the Rolling Stones, watched him closely. Every night, Jagger would sit on the side of the stage and study how Little Richard performed.
Wow.
Jagger wanted to learn and understand how to be great on stage, too. At that time, the Rolling Stones only had one small record out. They were not making much money. Sometimes, they even slept on the floor in someone else's hotel room, like Bo Diddley's. Mick Jagger once said that seeing Little Richard on stage was unbelievable. He said Little Richard had so much power and energy. Even though Mick liked Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley a lot, he felt that nobody could perform like Little Richard. He called Little Richard his first idol. That means Little Richard was someone he looked up to and wanted to be like.
Yeah.
Keith Richards, the guitar player for the Rolling Stones, also felt the same. He said one of the best moments in his life was when he shared the stage with Little Richard. It was something he would never forget. The Rolling Stones looked up to Little Richard and were excited to perform with him. However, even though the Rolling Stones became very famous later, Little Richard felt hurt. He believed he did not get enough credit for helping
Again?
He felt that people forgot how he...
Sorry. So how did he wanted people to credit him? Because like, or to appreciate him? Because like every moment, like he's having this great heart of helping, and I think his problem is like he expects too much, too much expectations. But I think he was really good in helping people
by the way.
and building their careers. Yeah.
He helped the band in the beginning.
Okay.
He wanted others to know that he helped shape their music and stage
Oh,
style.
yeah.
The Rolling Stones did say many times that Little Richard was one of their biggest influences.
Okay.
They called him the originator, which means he started something new. But still, Little Richard felt that people in the music world did not give him the full respect he deserved for helping bands like the Rolling Stones.
Rock and roll.
Getting a shipping quote.
Oh, I think he expects too much expectations.
Yeah, this is so interesting.
I want you all to know that I am the king of rock and roll.
Now, behind the fun music, he had a big problem. He was not getting paid what he truly earned.
What?
This is a sad story that happened to many black artists in the early days of the music industry.
Why?
The people who controlled the money and the contracts often took more than their fair share.
What?
And the artists, like Little Richard, got very little in return. In 1955, Little Richard signed a contract with Specialty Records. This was the company that helped put out his songs. But the deal he got was not fair. He was only paid half a cent for every record that was sold. That means if a record sold for $1, he only got half a penny. This was not enough, especially since his records were selling in huge numbers. The record company made a lot of money, but Little Richard did not see much of it. At that time, many black artists were given bad contracts like this. They didn't have lawyers to help them. Many of them were young, poor, and just wanted a chance to sing and be heard.
Okay.
As years went by, Little Richard started to understand how badly he had been treated. He realized he was making millions for others while getting almost nothing himself. He had worked hard, toured all over the world, and gave his best in every show. But the money still did not come to him. This made him angry and hurt. He felt cheated by the people who were supposed to help him. And he was not the only one. Many artists like him were treated the same way. In 1984, Little Richard decided to fight back. He filed a lawsuit for $115 million. He sued Specialty Records and some other companies. He said they owed him money for the songs he made, including the big hit Tutti Frutti. That song helped start rock and roll, but he did not get paid fairly for it. He wanted the money he earned. He wanted justice, not just for himself, but for all the black artists who had been used by the system.
Wow.
Sadly, the court dismissed the lawsuit.
What?
The judge said the case could not move forward because of a problem with the court's power, not because Little Richard was wrong. So he didn't win the case. But people started talking more about how unfair the music industry had been, especially to black artists.
Yeah.
His lawsuit made the public listen. It showed that the system needed to change.
Yeah.
Little Richard kept performing and talking about how he was treated. He never forgot how he was used by the record companies. Even though he didn't get the money he wanted from the lawsuit, he helped open people's eyes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
His story is one of talent, struggle, and a fight to be treated right.
Exactly.
He gave the world great music, but he also gave us a lesson. Artists should be paid fairly for their work.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's
Oh,
over.
wow. Oh my God. Wow, that was really educative.
Exactly.
At the end, at least he continued with his legacy in another way, like trying to open artists' eyes. Like he has been a very helpful person from the start.
By the way.
Yeah, that's what I have really loved about him in this story.
Exactly, and what also can say that his support and everything, though according to him, it didn't they didn't maybe thank him well, appreciate him well, but according to those who maybe who he helped, they did their best on acknowledging him.
I think the problem was the time it was full of the whites and the blacks, so that thing had really sunk in people's mind, and he felt like, why am I still treated this way yet? I'm helping people yet. Like he felt like maybe by helping people, I will change people's mind over being like thinking like a white can do better than a black, or appreciating a white much better than a black. I think he was into helping people so that people will stop that thing, so that he can get popularity. Even if he is a black singing, he can still get the popularity of being played in pop music, radios and all that, like the whites were being played. So I think that's what he expected.
Exactly, and also you know, with mind and mindset, it comes with that a torture of mind or emotional torture.
Exactly.
Where when he was growing up, when he was starting his musical journey, there's things that tortured him emotionally, and also maybe his mindset changed on how he viewed things. So when he was being being looked down upon every moment, that made him
So hard.
so hard. So that feeling also comes to in lifetime. as wherever he says even a snippet, a small thing, he feels
you
like
just feel,
yeah, you are looking down upon you. I
you
think
feel
that's
like
the effect
this
that
is
comes.
disrespect, this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not
yeah,
like you're
yeah.
not giving me the appreciation you would have given me. Like
Yeah.
everything just revolve around that one.
Exactly. So because of that torture the mind,
Exactly.
I think that's the problem. But he is a very good, influential.
Exactly, very kind person, very
Yeah.
helpful, humble. Like all in all, he was still a helpful. Like he was still trying to mentor people to
Yeah, despite all.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a very good video. Thank you, Dan, for this one. Hope each and every one of you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to share with us any point that you have left behind,
Exactly.
a point that you can
Additional
information, a point that you can add from what we have listened, a point that you can clarify even. Remember
Exactly.
that time, guys, you were there, we were not there. So please give us some good stories behind it. Don't forget to like it and subscribe here.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching as well. Thank you, Dan, for this.
We are out.
Bye bye.